Hey, remember me? This is Half-Life: The Lost Coast. I've always said I was gonna do back and play the games a bit with the commentary track on. You'll be in know the damages while listening to a note. Achievements will not be earned in commentary mode. I don't care about that. I just kind of wanted to see if this is interesting. Maybe I'll go back and do like chapter 1 or something. That's the shortest one of the three, I think. Because there's a base game, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Oh!
Welcome to the Lost Coast. In this tour, we'll be talking about a new graphics technology we've been developing called High Dynamic Range, or HDR for short. We'll also be giving you some insight into the design and production challenges we faced during the construction of the Lost Coast. It appears that you either have HDR disabled, or your video hardware does not support HDR. You're still welcome to take a look around the level. First, a quick explanation of the commentary system. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating lambda symbol and press your use key. To stop a commentary node, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press the use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game for the purpose of showing something to you. In these cases, simply pressing your use key again will stop the commentary.
That was interesting.
When the art team started to think about a location that would demonstrate the power of HDR, a beach was one of the first choices we made. The visual relationship between the sky, the water, and the rocks is something we could not achieve without HDR. In order for high dynamic range to correctly simulate the light's interaction with the surfaces around you, like these wet rocks, we needed more precise information about the surfaces than we've had in the past. And now going forward, we're modeling textures in 3D packages to ensure that the physical information encoded in the texture allows HDR to correctly bounce light off the surface. We also designed the colors and values of each surface to ensure they will be correct across all exposure levels.
Seems you're supposed to get this one first. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
With conventional rendering, seen here on the left, if something on the screen is 20% reflective, like the wet sand, then the maximum reflected brightness could only be 20% of the maximum brightness of your monitor. HDR's more accurate simulation of light ensures that the sun's reflection on this wet sand appears as it would in the real world, which could potentially use 100% of the maximum monitor brightness. HDR uses bloom to simulate light that is beyond 100% of a monitor's maximum brightness.
It's gonna be kind of annoying because I don't have PC cables.
The process of building characters in Half-Life 2 taught us many things. By the end, we believed we'd figured out a more effective process for designing and constructing characters. This fisherman is the first character we built using that process. Design-wise, the fisherman was focused on showcasing HDR and the way light falls on human skin. The highlights on his forehead and nose are good examples of specularity on human skin. You can see how the wrinkles on his cheeks and around his eyes are an example of how we can use normal maps to add depth. Production-wise, the fisherman was built using a similar process to the rocks you saw on the beach. We model the 3D character at a very high detail, then extract much of the physical information and store it in the textures.
Hey! You there? Wait a minute now, aren't you? You are. You're that scientist chap, Friedman. Fishman, am I right?
Yeah.
You must be here to take on the Combine. Not sure what one man can do, but no other reason to visit St. Olga at a time like this. I'll take you to where they made their base, or as far as I can, at any rate.
Yeah, you don't take me very far now that I think about it. Anyway, like I was trying to say, I still think it looks good despite not having all that stuff on it. I've definitely played worse looking games. But unless I want to watch my computer burst into flames, I can activate none of that shit.
Here, now, let me just unlock this gate for you. Got the key right here.
Hey,
There
put a
we
little
go.
fucking spear down. Give that shit to me.
Get
It's
along
mine
now, laddie. Destroy that gun and no dawdling.
I'm gonna
Water
doubt it.
presents us with a lot of rendering challenges. In fact, we have to render the scene 3 times. Once for the refraction of what's under the water, once for the reflection of everything above the water, and once from the player's view. You can see the reflection and refraction scenes in the 2 small windows on screen. In the refraction, we calculate per pixel how much water you're looking through to do a volumetric underwater fog to simulate particulate matter. For our full HDR solution, we had to go through the entire engine and modify every bit of code that calculated light and color. For example, these water reflection and refraction renderings had to be improved to support the full range of contrast values.
Okay, actually that is kind of cool.
Hurry, lad, get up the path.
Hang on, something's fucking up somewhere. Damn it, I fucking missed. I blame you for this. I don't know what you did or how you affected me, but I blame you. Yeah, hang on. Fucking shit.
Depleted.
Not a good shot with the tank. Okay.
The area you're currently entering is called the Cliffside Arena. We were particularly happy with the vertical cliffside in Half-Life 1, and regretted that we didn't iterate further on that concept in Half-Life 2. Vertical space allows us to force the player to deal with threats from above and below. We find that players focus their view on the direction they're traveling, so by using a cliffside and having the player ascend it, we ensure that the player will look up and be prepared for enemies. If the player's path was to move past the bottom of the cliffside, it would be unlikely he would notice soldiers rappelling down from above. And dying from unknown threats never feels fair and certainly isn't fun.
Good thing you fucking ended that there. Hang on. They hit me up there. Hang on. I forgot this was here. Bullet on me. Alright, guess we're just gonna fucking carry it by hand. Then we got this was here, so we're just gonna nab it and there we go. I don't remember using this actually. I remember I drop it later on.
Depleted. Ammunition depleted.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Alright, let's go. Yeep. I can't even shake this fucking thing. Fucking showed him. Ah! Alright, that works out. Do we go up or down? Let's go down. Let's see what's going on down here. Not a lot. Alright, let's go back up here. There's a healthy helping a fuck all going on. Wait, that's right. I don't think I've seen one since there. I hope they're not hiding the fucking things, because I'm not gonna search around that well.
One of the features of our HDR solution is dynamic tone mapping. The easiest way to think about dynamic tone mapping is that it's a method of simulating the way the human eye reacts to light. In the real world, you've probably walked into a dark room and noticed your eye adjusting to the darkness, letting you see better after some time. Or you've walked out into a bright day and been blinded by the sun, only to have your eye adjust and allow you to see normally. Your iris is adjusting itself in response to the amount of light hitting your eye. Dynamic tone mapping simulates this by automatically adjusting the exposure of the scene to mimic the behavior of your iris. You can see this as the view moves from the dark tunnel to the bright sun and back again. Here, you can see the way we calculate the amount of light hitting the player's eyes. We take a snapshot of the scene, measure the brightness levels, and then use that to adjust exposure. We consider light at the center of the screen more important than at the edges, to better simulate the geometry of the eye.
Yeah, we don't get that, I'm afraid. If I fucking turn on all these settings, my computer, this recording will be a fucking slideshow, let me tell you. Hang on, I wanna... Alright.
The courtyard in front of you is a space we call an arena. Arenas are built to hold the player for a period of time and usually contain combat or some other challenge. They often have multiple entry points for enemies, along with a gate of some kind to prevent the player moving on until the challenge has been completed. In this case, the arena is free of enemies until the player solves a puzzle and triggers an alarm. This is a method that allows the player to explore the arena and get a sense of its space before being forced to fight in it. It adds a sense of uneasiness to the player who's expecting to be attacked now that they've reached the goal set for them at the start of the map. The break in the action here is also a crucial part of the level's pacing. It allows the player to recover and explore the world a little after being attacked on the way up the cliffside.
It is kind of funny that now that I've played it once, I do think I remember being really nervous when we walked in here, but fucking battle arena. Alright.
The Source engine supports a wide variety of shaders. The refraction shader on the window here requires us to copy the scene to a texture, refract it, and then apply it to the window's surface. To fully support HDR, every shader in the engine needed to be updated. So this refraction shader was improved to support the full range of contrast. If you viewed the sun through this window, it would be refracted correctly.
That's cool. I mean, we don't get to see it, but it's still cool nonetheless. I forgot, that's just the fucking hit E button.
We wanted to transition from a bright, wide open space into a tighter, closed one to showcase HDR's dynamic tone mapping. We also like to focus on contrasting elements in our settings, like ancient human architecture and futuristic combine technology. A monastery fit these requirements perfectly. Monasteries are generally isolated, unlit, and built ages ago. They provide a great backdrop for the contrasting Combine technology. When we build fictional settings, we try to ground them by basing them off a real-world location. We use this location as a design constraint that forces a logical consistency behind the art choices.
Anywho.
Churches are great dramatic spaces. They're often lit naturally with extremes of darkness and brightness, which makes them a great showcase for HDR. Gothic churches are the sober monochromatic spaces that you've seen in almost every horror movie or game. Byzantine churches, on the other hand, are very colorful and have a large variety of materials. We wanted that color and material variety to show off our HDR reflections.
I really don't want to interrupt all that fucking...
Our games are filled with things we call gates, which are essentially just challenges that the player must overcome to drive the experience forward. We used a puzzle here since the player has been through combat and exploration recently. When we design challenges, we try to ensure that the player's goal and the action required by the player are both fun. It's not hard to create interesting goals for the player, like stopping this machine from shelling the nearby village, but the action required by the player to solve the challenge needs to be fun as well. So instead of something menial, such as hitting an off switch, the player gets to use physics to jam the gun's mechanism and cause it to break.
It's really obvious that this is what you're supposed to do, because I remember we were just sitting here thinking about how easy this was. That's not gonna wham out immediately, isn't it? Everyone's a little bastard.
Minor laceration detected. Warning. Sign. User dead imminent.
And I forgot how this all goes. So this is kind of interesting, like what they're describing. It's almost damn near not really. But walk around it. I guess it's more focused on like how the engine interacts with the set. I'm sure these things are gonna do something. Anyway, like I was saying, it's more about how the engine interacts with the setting that you're in, that being a chapel. Or how they describe it. Temple? Church? Oh, now I remember, because there's that guy over here, the door. No? Yep. That, and let me grab the other. Nah, we don't need these, I remember now.
This marks the end of the Lost Coast tour. This has been an experiment on our part to see if our community would find it interesting to learn more about our development process. As always, we're interested in your feedback. I can be reached at gaben, Gaben, at valvesoftware.com. If people like this, we'll keep producing this kind of content for all of our games going forward. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, how'd that fucking go, eh? The last game. I think the next game was it Alex? It might have been one of the left. Yeah. I know we lost. Anywho, fuck. I feel like we missed one. Does anyone else feel like that? I also kind of feel like that was a little early. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking insane. What the fuck is that doing over there? No, I fucking see that. Get me down there. I gotta go fucking look at that now. Damn it, look what they're doing to me, making me walk all the way over there, motherfuckers. I can see the world box from here.
Fracture detected.
I knew we were missing one. The count did not feel right to me. Ho ho. Shit out here.
The remains of the ship in front of you were once part of a puzzle we cut out of the Lost
No,
Coast.
motherfucker. No.
The original
we just got
design
here.
of the puzzle was based on the idea.
Oh, you dirty motherfucker. Yep, fucking. Yep, come on, do. It also kind of looks like we just got up from down there and we just fucking fell. And I think it looks like this is a repeating pattern. Fucking shit, how did... There we go.
The remains of the ship in front of you were once part of a puzzle we cut out of the Lost Coast. The original design of the puzzle was based on the idea of the player and the fisherman cooperating together to solve something. This was the type of puzzle we'd always wanted to attempt in Half-Life 2. Unfortunately, as development on Lost Coast neared the end, and this puzzle still wasn't finished, we decided to cut it. It's always painful to remove work, so we've tried to evolve a process for making those kinds of decisions. For example, with this puzzle we asked ourselves, is this puzzle actually fun? If not, how much work does it need to be fun? Does this puzzle fit within the purpose of Lost Coast? Would our customers appreciate this puzzle being finished more than they would appreciate, say, soldiers rappelling off the cliffside? In the end, it made more sense to put this problem on the shelf with other interesting ideas and come back to it later.
I wonder if they ever did. Anywho, I felt like we were missing one or two, so it's good to see that I was right. Oh, it's a fucking crab cage. Anyway. Oh no, it's those little bugs that live in the water. Oh, hang on. Might as well go to the deeper part of the water if we're gonna dry. Lack of being eaten alive. Might as well see if we can escape out of the water. Okay. Anyway, this has been... Oh. I forgot what those things look like. Anyway, this has been replaying this just for the commentary to see what they said. I feel like it might be a bad example of what they say in like the full game, because this is mostly just revolving around the technology they built for the Lost Coast, so... Yeah, anyway, I will see you next time, basically. I just wanted to do this, just to have something to go today. And I figure, you know, it's one episode, quick, slap it, and wrap it up. I don't fucking have a fucking saying for this, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Toodaloo, and bye-bye.